Hi, everyone, and welcome to another deep dive from Smart-EDU Hub. Today, we're getting into a really interesting article. It's called Net Generation, Thinking Outside the Box by Using Online Learning Methods. It's by Andreea-Maria Tirziu and Catalin Vrabie. And just for pronunciation, that's Catalin Vrabie. Our goal really is to unpack how this generation, the ones who've grown up totally digital, are using online learning to think more creatively. Yeah, how they're using it to innovate. And just so you know, you can find a link to the article itself right there in the description below. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. The article talks about the net generation, defining them as, well, the first generation to grow up digitally, right? Completely immersed in digital media from the get-go. But here's what I found really interesting. They're not just using the tech, they're actually kind of shaping society with it.
That's a key point.
Yeah.
And the article really digs into that transformation, doesn't it? It talks about this shift away from a sort of culture of control towards one that's more based on performance.
Yeah.
And it's young people who are, driving changes in modern institutions because of this.
Right.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, ICT, information and communications tech, it's almost seen as this savior for society in the 21st century.
Like a path forward.
Exactly, offering huge opportunities, a more dynamic way of living and working.
That makes sense. And the article ties us into the sheer speed of things today, right? Information overload, almost. You have to process things so quickly, learn constantly. It says the net generation's reflexes are just, well, adjusted to that pace.
Yeah.
So innovation isn't some separate thing. It's just part of how they operate.
Yeah, precisely. And that adaptability shows up in how they use social media, too. It's not just for chatting with friends. It serves academic purposes as well. Dual purpose, really.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that with all those free online learning resources popping up. Coursera, Udacity, FutureLearn.
Stanford Online, the Open University, those big names.
Exactly. They're massive because they offer that anytime, anywhere access to information. It completely changes the game for self-education.
So, okay, we have this generation comfortable with tech, these amazing online tools. What does this mean for, the education system itself? The article does a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Looking at the weaknesses section, what really jumps out to you? What are the big hurdles?
Well, yeah, the SWOT analysis is quite revealing on the challenges. Several things stand out as critical weaknesses. First, there's this persistent scarcity of resources. We're talking economic, professional, human resources, structural, even technological.
So across the board, really?
Pretty much. It affects the whole system, suggesting many places just aren't equipped properly. Then there's often a lack, sometimes a complete absence, of clear e-learning policies at the sort of structural level.
No roadmap, basically.
Kind of. And tied to that is a deficiency in the actual skills and technical know-how within educational institutions themselves. The people power isn't always there.
Okay.
And, of course, the risk of not enough public investment in this whole area. That's always a concern.
It really sounds like a classic case of the technology moving faster than the institutions and policies needed to support it properly.
That's a good way to put it, yes. Yeah. And maybe that leads us to perhaps the most profound point the article makes towards the end.
Okay.
It suggests that, while technology is evolving like crazy and social media is creating this kind of global city, the real goal shouldn't just be about making the tools better and better.
Right.
The core aim, it argues, needs to be about enhancing human intelligence, making sure we don't accidentally strip the human element out of learning and interaction.
Keep the person in the picture.
Exactly. The tech should support and elevate our thinking, our connection, not, replace it.
That's such a critical point to end on. It's not just about digital literacy, but about cultivating human intelligence in a digital world, a really vital distinction. Well, that's about all the time we have for this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found that insightful. Please do like and subscribe to the Smart-EDU Hub channel so you're the first to catch our new deep dives. And just a reminder, that link to the article by Andreea-Maria Tirziu and Catalin Vrabie is right down there in the podcast description. Thanks for listening, and goodbye for now.